future. Let's dive into our health headlines on this Feel Good Friday, shall we? New food trends and diets popping up online really all the time. And today we're looking into the fads surrounding protein specifically. So Dr. Sonal Haerter with Dignity Health Medical Group is back in the States. Welcome home and thanks for being here. So let's talk about the guidelines and recommendations for protein intake.
Okay, so the recommended daily allowance for protein for most adults, so ages above the age of 18, is about 0.8 grams per kilogram of ideal body weight. So for example, if somebody weighs, let's say 80 kilos, but their ideal body weight is 60 grams per day is the recommended allowance. Now, here's what I want people to understand. That's actually to prevent protein deficiency. Okay. So most experts actually recommend a little bit higher. Now, this is not medical advice. There are some people with kidney problems that need to discuss this with their doctor.
Right.
So this is in general for healthy adults. Most experts say that about 1.2 to 1.7 grams per kilograms might be more beneficial for muscle health and overall health.
And so muscle health, which is important, is to avoid a deficiency, then why is protein so important to our overall health if we don't have those other organ issues?
Right. So great question, Rachel. So protein, just like other macronutrients, is essential for muscle strength, muscle growth, our bone health, our hormones, but also remember a collagen, which is present in our joints as well as skin, hair growth. So overall, protein seems to be very beneficial for our immune system as well. So all parts of our health system.
And of course, we know that there's people who are vegetarian or vegan. So let's talk about plant-based proteins versus, you know, the regular meat, milk, eggs, things that we generally kind of knew growing up at the food pyramid.
And that's a great question. I have a lot of patients who come and say, is plant better than meat? And actually, here's what I say. Protein comes from both resources. Plant and meat-based proteins are both good resources as long as we are getting it from the good quality sources. So for example, less processed foods are significantly better than processed foods. To give you an example, we talk about meatless vegetarian burgers. Those could be very high in saturated fat. You might get protein, but saturated fat is not necessarily healthy for us. But if you get the same protein from tofu or edamame, now that might be good vegetarian protein.
And there's a list here of a couple of different things that you shared with us is where the protein source is, some of which I didn't know. So what are some that people may not be mindful of where they can get it? You don't have to have a filet every night.
Sure, exactly. And I think meat proteins are a good source of protein as well. But here we have tofu, edamame. Tempeh is actually something that is rich in fiber. It's a good source of fiber, good source of actually protein, and you just add it in your stews or in your soups or in your salads when cooked. I get it from Trader Joe's. It's actually easy to get.
Okay, now if you don't want to go that route, is there any kind of supplements, or is it, because I know there's iron deficiency and calcium and things like that. Are there protein supplements as well?
So they're protein supplements, and I would caution that protein powders or protein shakes should be used as supplements and not as meal replacements, because our viewers have to remember it's not just protein. We are looking at a whole meal. So making sure that you're getting your vegetables, fruits, along with less processed protein.
Okay, and then I did see one on here. So cottage cheese, I think I forget that one. And I know that's one of those things, you either love it or you hate it, but these are the dairy-based ones that we should remind people of.
So low-fat yogurts, cottage cheese, milks, and eggs, egg whites. That's actually because I'm vegetarian. That's my go-to for most of my protein sources. And meat-based, lean chicken, lean turkey, seafood, red meat, that's actually home-cooked, less processed. Listen, those are all great sources of good protein.
Okay, so don't just follow the Instagram fad. Do your research and make sure you're consulting with your clinician to stay on your right diet.
Takeaway points here are food should come from less processed, home cooked better, but less processed, less saturated fat. These could be good sources both from meat as well as plant-based.
I love it. Dr. Sonal Haerter, thank you so much. We appreciate the tips heading into the weekend. Don't be having cheat days all the time, guys. Still ahead on 12 News at 1, it's time to rediscover the hidden gems of Arizona. We'll show you the views from the Wave Cave next.